Hiya. That's what we say up north to say hello. And that's when you say hiya back. Hiya. Great stuff. Great to see a wonderful invention called graphene. I've got a bit of paper with a poem on. I'll do my best with it. My name's Garry, I'm a poet. I've been writing poems for many, many years. And like what's just been said, I believe that poetry and literature is the way out for loads of people. When I was asked to do this TED talk, I thought, what's bugging you at the moment, Mike? Because that's usually how I write poems. And I thought, well, what's bugging me at the moment is the way large swathes of young people escape the system, escape from school, and don't actually gain skills needed for the real world from school. And it's funny because the OECD seemed to agree with me a few months later, whereby they said exactly the same thing, whereby schools are failing to educate young people in the most basic of skills. The most important skill, I believe, is that of the ability to communicate, which ultimately comes from literature. So I'm going to be talking today about the 5 L's, well, the 6 really. Language, literature, libraries, lads and ladettes. There's another one, but I can't think of it at the moment, but it'll come to me in a bit. But I can't start this talk today without talking about how I got into language and literature. So this is how I got into language and literature. Me mum. Grew up in a Catholic house with 5 other kids, sent to a Roman Catholic school and to church on a regular basis, full of poetry. Sat in front of the primary school listening to Miss McComb with a book in her hand. Remember when you loved stories being read to you? You were sat there doing your Victorian house again, or your Victorian statue again. And at the end of the day, Miss would say, right, everybody, we've all worked really hard. Let's all go on the carpet for a story. And no matter how hard or how cool you were, you would race to that carpet. Why? The cushion. You wanted the cushion. You wanted to lean on the cushion like that and fall asleep. Who fell asleep while Miss McComb was reading a story? Put your hand up, come on. Who woke up with slabber down the face like that? Just me then. And she used to sit there like, whoever tried to get on a knee? Like that, did that. Just me again. Who called her mum? When I aced the way she used to do that. Don't you dare slag off those PGCEs, they are really useful things. I'm only joking, I think they're ace. And she intrigued me. The sound of a voice. I went to the cafe with Sophie in a Tiger Who Came to Tea with her mum and dad. I was in the Peach with James. I was on the wall with Humpty. I did hand claps, hand rhymes, all those daft things that we forgot about that we used to do. Remember that skipping thing? Got a little bumper car, number 23, took it round the corner. No, but the lads were too cool, weren't they? I'm not doing that skipping business. Sailor went to sea to see what... They'd do other things like make dirty rhymes or dirty chants or mad limericks. It was all poetry. Yeah? And it was mesmerising and we loved it. Then my mum would send me to church. Well, with a big training to be a nun for so many years, she must have thought it was pretty handy. So we'd go to church and I'd hear words like Gethsemane and I'd go, hey, I like that. Yeah? Genuflection. Didn't even know what they meant, it just sounded ace. Golgotha. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I loved the sound. I loved the sound of the priest chanting, doing his little chants. And then we'd come home and every May and October, after Mass, and after tea, we'd do the rosary. We'd sit there and 50 times we'd go, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee, blessed art thou amongst women, blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus, Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death, amen. It wasn't a prayer, it was a chant. It got you high. In a really weird kind of way. After a bit, you stopped listening to the words. And you just raised up. And my mum would have a turn. Then my dad would have a turn. Then our Chris, then our Huey, then our Shay. And we'd go through. And it was a wonderful rhythm. wonderful rhythms. And I became obsessed with words and with language. And my mum and dad liked a beer or two, so they'd bring weird guys home from the pub who'd play the piano and sing songs. And my mum would put the occasional rebel song on a Saturday morning and go, "What's that, mum?" She'd go, "It's a rebel song, son. Stand in a band like a true Irish man and go and fight the forces of them all." And I'd become obsessed with these things. And I'd learn loads about Irish history. All this from music, from words, from language. But then what happened? School. School came along and ruined it all. Why? Because they wanted me to read at about 4. So the teacher would sit there and test me on and I wasn't interested. Put your hand up if you love reading. That's virtually about everyone. I say this in schools all the time. What's really worrying is less than 20% of the kids put their hands up. So what I say then is, have you noticed how it's always the good-looking kids who like reading? But it's true. It's a fact. And school ruins it in lots of different ways. But slowly but surely, I learned to read through my mum. Because my mates would call around, knock, Mike, you coming out for a game of football? Yeah, I'll just be a minute, I'll go and tell my mum. Probably about 7, 8. Mum, I'm going for a game of football, is that okay? No, it's not. What? No, it's not. Why not? You're going upstairs and you're doing some reading. Reading? I want to climb trees, play football, and throw blown-up balloons at girls, Mum. No, you're going upstairs to read, she'd say. So I'd go upstairs, I'd pick up a book. Why did we hate reading as kids? Well, mainly because it looked minging. When you opened a book, words. You read the first few words, by the time you got to the bottom, you'd completely forgotten what they were about. And why was it always about posh kids? Going to the forest for a picnic with a dog called Timmy. Samantha and Joseph. Not being funny, right, but where you grew up, where I was, if you call Samantha, you just got a slap automatically. Posh picnic. Picnic? So you used to have a picnic. Books didn't relate to me in any way. In any way. And the stuff I was reading was nonsense. Total nonsense. About a world so far away from me, I couldn't have even imagined it. I wouldn't wanted to have imagined it. But then one day something really weird happened, because she'd send me upstairs, I'd pick up a book, I'd read something, but what I'd do is I'd look for a book that looked like this. Why did it look great? Because there's not a lot of writing in it. Why else? Because it's mine. But that's another point. I hadn't written it yet. So I'd read it, I'd run downstairs and go, "Mum, I've done my reading, can I go out?" She'd go, "Yes, go on." Let me have a look at it first. So I'd show her and she'd give me the mum face. Do you know the mum face? You know, like when your mum catches you with your hand in a purse or in the biscuit tin. So I'd go out, score 9 hat-tricks, obviously. Next day, same gig, mates knocking at the door, coming out to play, let's have a word with my mum. "Mum, can I go upstairs and read?" Go upstairs, force me to read something, I'd run back downstairs, I'd show her 12 hat-tricks. Went on for 9 months. Then one day something really, really weird happened. I picked up this book, I opened it and I read something. And I'm going to share what I read with you. I'm going to share with you what I read that day. And I'd never read words like it. And it went, it's deep this, are you ready? In the ning, nang nong, where the cows go bong, and the monkeys all say boo. There's a nong nang ning where the trees go ping and the teapots jibba jabba do. In the ning nang nong where the cows go bong, can't catch them when they do. So it's ning nang nong, cows go bong, nong nang ning, trees go ping. What a noisy place to belong is ning nang ning nang ning nang ning nang ning nang ning nang nong. Never heard the word ning in a book before. After 3, can everyone shout ning? 1, 2, 3. Call that shouting. Are you depressed? Let's have another go. After 3, can everyone shout ning? 1, 2, 3. Ning. Can we have a sang nong? Nong. 1, 2, 3. Nong. Nong, nong. Come on, 1, 2, 3. Nong. Brilliant. So can we have a ning, nong, nong, nong. 1, 2, 3. Ning, nong, nong. Wonderful. Did you ever stand on the top of Plattfields Hill and spin around and do that and say, "Oh, just me again then"? Because I used to love it. I used to do that ning nang nong, cows go bong, monkeys, not on my own. Couldn't do it while my mates were there, could I? So I'd do it to myself, on top of the hill, spinning around, getting drunk, because that's why we get drunk. That's how we get drunk as kids, by spinning around. Because ultimately we want to get out of ourselves. Literature did that to me at quite an early age. So I was really lucky. Really lucky. Put your hand up if you like young people. I think they're ace. I think they're top. More interesting than old people. And a lot better looking. I'm sat at the back, there's a few young people in front of me. I'm looking at them and I think, God, they've got smart clothes. They're not fat and bald. They look really cool. And they're adventurous as well, aren't they? They'll take chances and things. And they're great on them little mopeds things, you know, where they go around and jump up and down and stuff. I really like young people. I think they're dead cool. I think they do smart things. I think they do intelligent things. Unfortunately, we live in a country that doesn't like them. Hold on, we live in a civilization that doesn't like them, really. Because the whole of the Western world seems to despise them. Our governments do, don't they? You know what I mean? It used to be hug. Hug a youngster. Hug a hoodie, they used to say. Now it's mug a hoodie, innit? They're locking up more young people than ever before. Than ever before. They're the most detested race of young people in civilization. We scorn them for the clothes they wear, for the music they listen to. We feed them on a diet of cultural bile, X Factor, and Britain's Got Talent. And in terms of health-wise, really sneaky advertising executives sell them shite food. Horrible food that gives them ADHD and really messes them up. And then we send them to school. One of the most destructive places in terms of creativity I've ever seen in my life. Don't get me wrong, it's really useful in some ways and really useful for some kids. But not all. Not all. Especially if you think a little bit differently. It was useless for me. But I worked on the Mark Twain theory of I'd never let my schooling interfere with my education. So I had a laugh, and I used it as much as I possibly could. But let's look at school today. Let's look at what school does today. They test you on everything, don't they? From the age of zilch. They test you in nursery now. They test you on whether you can have a pee or not, don't they? Yes, you can pee. They test you on your way to the toilet. They test you on every single thing. And then they start testing you properly. And they start giving you national exams, SATs, I think they call them. I think they missed out on H and I, misspelt them in a weird kind of way. They do it every couple of years. And in between those tests, they'll give you another few tests, won't they? Just to keep them happy. But I don't blame the teachers for this. I blame a terrible national curriculum that's been organised by middle-class people, upper-class people who went to Eton and Oxford. Gove should be really hanging his head in shame for what he's providing at the moment for young people in our schools today. He really should be. He's even sending the Latin back. I like a bit of Latin, but not everybody does. Now in schools, young people are being tested all over. Teachers are being tested more so. There's exam tables going on all the time. Now I believe that large swathes of young people are not being given an opportunity to do literature properly. Yeah? They're given the wrong books. They're given a very narrow selection of books. Now we're missing a trick here, because there's loads of young people there who are falling off register before they get to year 10. They're choosing to leave school as a result of this. I wanted to do that. My ma kept me going. She kept me in there. She kept badgering me to keep going. Michael, just get through it. Just get through it. Because I was bored. Now if you look at research by thousands of organisations working with young people, it's showing that young people are getting bored with school because it's not showing anything relevant to them anymore. So all those people who are dropping out in exams and missing those targets of those 5 A to Cs, 5 A to Cs are recognised as stupid. Now I believe that confidence is the most important thing in education. If you're a confident kid, you'll be successful. How confident are you going to be if you're told you're failing all the time? How confident are you going to be if you're told you're not reaching certain levels all the time? So what I believe is this. What I believe is if schools and libraries work together with all those young people who are dropping out of education at the ages of 14 and 15, and made a concerted effort to work with them through literature and to give them a voice and to read books and to choose the right books. I worked in libraries for 14 years, and I met some incredible specialists from libraries who knew more about different ranges of books than anybody else I'd ever met in my life. They could say, that sort of kid, he'd really like this book, and he'd give him that book. Or she'd give him that book, and he'd buzz on that book, and he'd come back. Because I believe that literature, and poetry especially for me, is incredibly important. It gives me and it gives young people an escape. That's why I started reading, to escape. I don't really like the world. It keeps raining. Yeah? Why do we get drunk and take drugs? Because we want to escape the world, ultimately. Yeah? And what do we do most weekends? Well, you do, I can tell. I believe literature helps us escape. It gives us an opportunity to express ourselves. Young people, a big problem young people find is that they are misunderstood. The riots gutted me. They really gutted me for two reasons. One, because we were rioting robbing one shop, trainer shop, and they ran past Waterstones. Do you remember that one? To rob another shop. Gutted me. Tell you what else gutted me about it. I could understand why. I could understand why they were rioting. But not one interview could articulate it, could it? Not one young person who they interviewed could say, I'm rioting because they've robbed me EMA. They've made going to university totally impossible for me as a working class kid. It's going to cost me 50 grand. And basically, we're just being hated by government after government after government. We can't find any other way of expressing ourselves. So this is how we're showing our distaste. Again, I'll turn around to my ma. One thing I learned really early is, you bring the police back to this house, the levering you're going to get off me will be 10 times worse than the levering you will ever get off a copper. Yeah? So, I believe we learn to express ourselves. We learn to escape through language. Yeah? I love words. I'm a proper word geek. I love the sound of words. I love the rhythm of words. I love looking really carefully at words and their origins. Yeah? I love the rhythms of language. I love the musicality of the human voice. Bez is a big fan of mine. He says, Mike, I love it. It's like talky singing. So thanks, Bez. I've looked for a university professor to tell me this for years. And Bez turns around and aptly sums it up in one. I love looking really closely at things. Ultimately, poetry is the truth. Looking really carefully at the truth. I love giving out my ideas. I love going, yeah, this is what I think. So do young people. They just express themselves in different ways. You roll them a football, they'll go flick, flick, flick all day, won't they? Yeah, you give them a skateboard, they'll give skate, skate, skate all day. We've got to find ways of getting them to do that in other ways. I never had a fight in my life. I never needed to. I had this. We empower young people with this and the ability to communicate, which comes through books, I believe, comes through literature and comes through language. A lot less fighting in the world. Yeah? So I also try to get over to young people is, in life, if you can communicate, you fight less, and the girls will like you more. Because ultimately, if you're interesting, they'll be interested. So, I've looked at lots of different ways in which language, literature, communication can help young people. And to help young people to not be made to feel that they're rubbish because they can't get the 5 8Cs, because they're not. They're just not right for that form of assessment at that time. Because for lots of people, well, it's been proven that only, I think it's 70%, 60% are only passing the 5 8Cs at the moment. And the English one's 61%. So that's 39% of people not achieving those targets. That's me and the OECD, proper sussed when it comes to communication. So we need to get libraries and schools to work together to try and get these young people more experienced and more exposed to literature and language. Whether that's done through poetry and the sorts of things that I do. I work in hundreds of schools throughout the year, throughout the world. We have an average of 10,000 kids a year. I love it. I walk in a classroom, there's a 15-year-old kid pulling a face because he's got to do poetry. And in 15 minutes, he's going, do you want to have a look at one of my poems, mate? Yeah? Because deep down inside, they're all poets. They're all waiting to express themselves. They're all waiting to show themselves. But they've got no sort of role model to say this is acceptable. Because the role models are comical, aren't they? Simon Cowell, etc. They don't want that. They want something else. I started my TED talk with saying that we need an influence in our lives. And that, my mum's been the influence on my life. And as adults and as parents, we need to read so that our kids can see us reading. I've seen so many dads going, my lad won't read, what can I do? And I go, do you read? And I said, nah. The lads are so much influenced by the dads and other important male role models in their lives. And the same with the ladettes. Let's give them something. Let's give them some sort of inspiration. Let's get poets in schools. Let's get artists in schools. Let's get them off that national curriculum business, which in most cases is a waste of time. And let's get them doing things that interest them and are relevant to them. Pi R square. We all know pi's around. So what I believe is, let's get working with young people. Let's give our influence to them. Let's work as role models, and let's equip them with the necessary skills they need to be able to express themselves, to be able to be confident. Because I think when a young person can express themselves, they're halfway there. I'm going to finish with a poem because I've not done a poem. So my mum, I spoke about my mum all the way through and how much of an influence she's been on my life. So much of an influence on my life in terms of poetry is that she died in April. And 3 weeks before she died, she goes, Michael, I want you to write my eulogy. So I said, yeah, Mum, leave it out. Don't put so much pressure on me to write you a eulogy, because it's just too much. She goes, well, I've worked on you all my life. So I did what you do when your mum asks you to write a eulogy, and what I did was, the morning we were burying her, I went for a swim, like you do. And I thought, right, every length, you've got to come up with a line. So I did. And I came up with a poem called What My Mum Taught Me. Now, I'm a librarian, so I'm allowed a bit of a book display. Came up with a poem called, it's not going to stand up, that. What My Mum Taught Me. And I'm going to share it with you now. Is that okay? Imagine if someone said no. This is called What My Mum Taught Me. Thanks for listening so much. You've been a wonderful audience. What my mum taught me. She taught me how to dream. God is free. That love isn't all you need. That's what my mum taught me. She taught me that I lived in the greatest city on earth, how to show my value as well as my worth. Success, it only comes through hard work. That's what my mum taught me. She taught me that my family will see me through. Maureen, Seamus, Patricia, Teresa, Christopher and Hugh. She said, work with them and I'll work with you. That's what my mum taught me. She taught me that charity begins at home and that it's good to spend some time alone and to say something positive. Don't just moan. That's what my mum taught me. To travel. To sail 8 of the 7 seas, that solitude is a dead good beach and that a caravan in Wales isn't all you need. That's what my mum taught me. She said, find beauty in the angry young man and have as many kids as you can, but always use a Silver Cross pram. That's what my mum taught me. She said that through reading and writing, I would escape. And that I could always have my say. And to say a prayer every single day. That's what my mum taught me. She taught me, drink too much, you'll be depressed. If I take drugs, I'll be a mess. Eat too much food, I'll be your best. I said obese, but it wouldn't have rhymed, obviously. That's what my mum taught me. To swim, to dance, to show true precision, to have confidence in every big decision, to make every single day a mission. That's what my mum taught me. You don't want to be in, it's better to be out, and that a whisper can be louder than a shout. To put my brain in gear before I use my mouth. Still working on that one though. It's what my mum taught me. She said, take life slow, don't live too fast, to live each day as if you were last. Abstain from meat and on Fridays fast. That's what my mum taught me. If someone's down, then pick them up. If someone's thirsty, give them your cup. If someone's bored, then give them a book. Sorry. That's what my mum taught me. If someone's homeless, then take them in. That God will always forgive a sin. So put your litter in the bloody bin. That's what my mum taught me. That women's lib is naught to do with burning your bra. If you believe in yourself, you'll go dead far. She taught me, always drive a Nissan car. What? Micra? No. That's what my mum taught me. She said, Michael, tell them not to cry because I've lived such a fantastic life. And if you want to see me, look into your children's eyes. It's what my mum taught me. That a sunset is someone you love saying goodbye. Did you all see that sunset last night? There's no sadness now because I'm celebrating a life. That's what my mum taught me.